All right. Now, I'm sorry about the whore lip that I got going on here. I kissed a dirty girl a long time ago, and well, this is what I get. So, got a little bit of the herp on the lips there. Um, However, let's soldier on here. Now, everyone's making a big deal about my man DJT, Donald J. Trump, posting out some tweets saying they're racist, and I'm here to tell you that they're not racist. And the whole thing is it's just made up by the leftists to make it look like he's being racist. Because, as we know, the squad is made up of non-white women. Donald Trump does not like them. And Donald Trump made some interesting tweets here, right? Everybody knows these tweets. And basically, they're all saying he's telling these ladies to go back where they came from, which, of course, the mainstream media is not being factual with that, right? They're going to twist his words, and it would be lovely if people could just take everything into context in what he's saying here and be honest about it. Donald Trump cares about the United States being a world-class power. He cares about money, and he cares about his ego, right? The fact that he said, why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken system, what the hell? Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came from? Then come back and show us how it's done. Everyone only focuses on go back to where you came from. Look, he's pissed off at a bunch of women who are basically far left, who would love to see America with open borders and socialist policies. And really, anti-Semitic, anti-American, really, bitching about how terrible the United States is, even though, like concentration camps, even though those were around long before Trump. Oddly enough, though, nobody seemed to make a big stink about that. Never saw that shit on CNN when Obama was having the concentration camps. But of course, if you talk to these idiots on the left, they'll tell you, well, it just happened when Trump became president, apparently, All of this is an issue now, not because they give a fuck, because they don't, but because they just don't like Trump. See, the problem with these people is that they would love to see unemployment rise. They would love to see the United States go to hell just so they can go, aha, and get a gotcha moment so they can blame Donald Trump. And that's why they're making a big deal out of these things like immigration and whatnot, right? Donald Trump has just said shit that every other president before him has said. And but now, because it's him, they got to make a big deal. And so he says, you don't like it, get the fuck out. Go fix Somalia, Ilhan, right? If United States is so bad, go fix that place, and then you can talk and show us how it's done here in the U.S. That's what he's basically saying. And it's not racist, right? Just because the people he's talking to happen to be black and brown. I know a lot of people don't consider Hispanic like a POC or whatever, but apparently they are now. But whatever. Only because they happen to be non-white women, people have to jump to the conclusion that it's got to be racism, right? If a black dude has a bad experience with a cop, say he gets a couple tickets, it's not because, he was speeding or doing whatever. No, it's because he's black. That's the only thing these people can come up with. It must be because I'm black, brown, yellow, native, whatever, right? They can't look in the mirror and say, well, maybe it's me. Maybe it's maybe the reason why Donald Trump is saying, get the fuck out of here and go back to where you came from is not because you're black or brown or whatever. It's because you're an asshole. I'm reminded of that Key and Peele comedy sketch where the gay guy is sucking on a dick lollipop and whatnot, and he's giving his coworkers shit. Going, you don't like gay people, blah, 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 blah. But then that coworker's boyfriend comes in, the two dudes kiss, and they leave. And the flamboyant guy sucking on the dick lollipop goes, oh, maybe it really is because I'm an asshole. Well, that's the case with this. It's not because they're women. It's not because they're non-white. It's because they're assholes. I guarantee you, if you had a person from, say, Germany, and they were anti-American, and they were a congresswoman or a congressman, and they were spouting off the same bullshit about how we're going to impeach that motherfucker, or concentration camps, or, I don't know how a garbage disposal works, right? If they were spouting off the same anti-US rhetoric, Trump would tell that white person to get the fuck out too. Guaranteed. But they don't want to think about that. They got to run with the racial narrative, right? And it's, in fact, the funny thing is, the people who automatically assume racism really are the racists themselves. When you think about it, right? They think the only people who ever experience this go back home where you come from are black people, brown people, Asian people, whatever. But they don't take into account the fact that, a lot of immigrants from, say, Europe would also experience that. Let me just go over here to this thread. All right, now this right here, 10 Stilly Inches. That's my Twitter account. That's my my alternate YouTube channel, which I'll plug. But this guy says, have you ever seen a white person being told to go back to your country? I respond, it happens all the time by people saying we're on stolen land and should go back to Europe. And it does. The anti-white rhetoric, or the far left or whatever, will tell you, you're on stolen land, go back to Europe, right? And I said, here's the problem with leftists and their own racism. They can't fathom white immigrants being told to go back to where they came from. Who are the real racists here? And as typical, it's the left. The left they don't understand how racist they actually are, right? Here we go down to this tweet here. No Irish need apply. Written about 1910. Okay, so that's a little dated, so forget about that, okay? I mean, something from over 100 years ago, forget it. However, this fella here, Master Wyatt Gerp, says, yeah, many times, including myself in real life, because I'm ethnically German, been told many times, white boy, go back to Europe. Isn't diversity fun? Right? The left wants to constantly tell us to go back to Europe, but the moment, and that's, Canadians, this guy says, laughing at you. That's probably true, actually. I don't know any white immigrants personally, so no, but there have been tons of white people, including me, have been told, if you don't like it here, then leave. And that's the sentiment Donald Trump's trying to use here, right? He's trying to say, basically, if you don't like it, get the fuck out and go do something better. And that happens in other aspects of life. If let's say you're at your buddy's house and he's made you dinner and it sucks, and you don't like it. And you say, man, this sucks. Your buddy might say, well, you know what? You don't like it. Get the fuck out and make your own dinner. And that's the sentiment here. It has nothing to do with race. But of course, the left has to make it about race. This guy says, yes, quite often, being a white South African. That's funny. And again, we get the help wanted, no Irish need apply. Yeah, like, this guy on Twitter, I've been told countless times to go back to Europe. So my point being is that this is not about race. But, of course, people who are anti-Trump have to make it about race. And all he basically said was, if you don't like it, leave. Or if you don't like it, why don't you go to the backwards country you came from, Somalia, you fix it. Let's see how well you do. Then you can come back and complain about how terrible the United States is once Somalia is this friggin' utopia. Anyways, those are my two thoughts.